It's me, already does it. Listen, some people have demons as pets. What are you talking about, Rashid? Having demons as pets? Whatever bullshit is that? Okay, let me explain. Anytime an individual clings onto a dysfunction because they refuse to either admit its dysfunction or they refuse to do something about it, from that point on, they made themselves a portal for evil spirits. If they are an unbeliever, that means from now on they can be possessed by evil spirits. If they're a believer, that means they can all be oppressed by demons. But whether believers or unbelievers, the moment someone refuses to face a long term dysfunction about themselves or about their environment, it doesn't automatically have to be something about them. Whether it's them having the dysfunction or the environment has it, if the environment has dysfunction, it still affects them. So something needs to be done about it. The moment someone does not want to face a long term dysfunction or a deep root dysfunction, whether it's within themselves or in the environment, from that point on, they become a portal, which means that evil spirits are able to use them as vehicles in the earth realm. So the demons that become stuck to them are the pet demons or the paranormal pets they hold on to. Okay, let me explain. Let's say if a drug addict who is smoking crack all the time, or maybe shooting heroin, or maybe it's also an alcoholic. But anyway, you have a drug addict who's also an alcoholic. This individual is obviously dysfunctional, and this dysfunction is deep rooted. Everyone can see it. But let's say now that the drug addict and alcoholic this time, because let's say she's both a drug addict and an alcoholic. Let's say she admits that it's an addiction, but she doesn't actually want to face the addiction. It's one thing to admit something. It's done something completely different to face it. When you admit something, just acknowledge something is there. But to face something means you process the ramifications of something being there. For example, if your grandfather passed away, that you're very close to, it's one thing to accept the fact he's dead. Okay, he's gone. It's a whole other thing to process he's dead. Namely, you can never call him again. There's no tomorrow anymore. You only have memories of him. You can't share any nice things with him anymore. So the process is a bit more difficult, but it needs to happen. Or what if you find out your wife is having an affair? It's one thing to accept the fact she's having an affair, especially when there's proof to prove it. But to process the affair means that you've realized, hold on a minute, that means she doesn't value me sexually. That means that she's been harming our family. That means that other people are aware she has been having an affair, other people kept it quiet. So now you realize the whole situation around it, which can be quite intense to face. So it's one thing to admit something, it's a whole other thing to process it. So let's say you have a woman who is an alcoholic and she's a drug addict. And let's say she had issues growing up. Now, she has to face the abandonment issue she has accumulated over time. It doesn't matter how painful her story is. It doesn't matter whether it's her fault or not. That's irrelevant. What matters is she has an abandonment issue. And this abandonment issue, it cripples her emotionally. So she doesn't know how to deal with emotions. It means she's socially dysfunctional too. And because she's socially dysfunctional, she always comes with excuses to walk away or to avoid when things are getting serious or when things are getting real in life. Her escapism is the root of her addictions. Now, if she admits her abandonment issue, then she will also admit that she's escaping. The moment she stops escaping and actually begins to face whatever it is in her life that's wrong, from that point on, the trauma begins to dissolve and the recovery process and healing process begins. But as long as she's not doing that, the emotional wound is still open. It keeps on getting more and more infected with negativity. And now there is unrest growing inside of her. And demons are feeding themselves with this unrest. So now you have a fear spirit and a tragedy spirit attached to her. So everywhere she goes, there's some type of accident happening. Or everywhere she goes, there are people who kind of mistreat her. Now the people mistreating her are the ones mistreating her, but the people are triggered to mistreat her. So those people have to face ups too. But she keeps saying, well, everywhere I go, people mistreat me or whatever. She's always a sad story. But hold on a minute. How come everywhere you go, people mistreat you? Well, because you have a fear spirit and a tragedy spirit attached to you. And later, also a victimization spirit came with it. So there are three demons that are attached to you. Those demons can only stay around you because they're being fed by the unrest you operate in. The only way you can stop operating in unrest is by facing whatever it is you're running away from. As long as she's not doing this, she remains in unrest and the demons are fed. So those demons are her pets. Just like someone can have a dog or a cat or some other pet that they have to feed from time to time. Or if you have a dog, you have to take the dog out for a walk. Well, the same way people do with evil spirits. And understand the following, a lot of people out there do not want to be delivered. Let's say, for example, someone is in a wheelchair and they get disability benefits from the government. So they don't have to work a 9 to 5. They don't even have to work at all. What if a believer walks by with a healing anointing? Well, if this healing anointing affects this crippled individual begins to walk out of the wheelchair, guess what? Because out of the wheelchair now, he's capable to walk around, people are going to expect more from him. Naturally so. So, society will now expect him to work. And likely now, he will have to do a 9 to 5. When he was in a wheelchair, debt collectors left him alone, the tax authorities left him alone with he's a disabled man. But now he's not disabled anymore, they're going to expect more from him. What if this man is upset with being in a wheelchair, but at the same time, he doesn't want to end up having to work like everyone else is doing? What if this man realized, you know what? If it's the only because I'm in this wheelchair, people have some sympathy for me. If I'm out of this wheelchair, people wouldn't even bother thinking about me. So what if this guy realized, you know what? Me being in this wheelchair grants me this disability benefits, and people have some sympathy for me. If I'm out of this wheelchair, I will have to work, and people are not going to have any sympathy for me anymore. If this man clings on to the sympathy from the public and the disability benefits, that means he's blocking his own healing. Means he's resisting getting better. He will have to make up his mind. Either the disability benefits or financial prosperity. One of the two. But for financial prosperity, you must be healthy first, especially sexually healthy. So either you have prosperity or you have the disability benefits. Now, I'm not saying that if you have disability benefits, you cannot prosper eventually. You can. But in this case, he's clinging onto the disability benefits as type of security. So in this case, the sickness demons are the pets he's feeding. So let's say I'm coming up with another example. Let's say you have a guy who's always bitter and upset with other people. This comes down from a lack of self-worth and the fact his own parents never actually promoted him. He is so upset with his parents because of that. However, the anger turns inwardly, so he also becomes upset with himself. And he's not at peace with himself. So he will not be at peace with other people. So he will always expect people to want to run away from him or turn on him, whatever. And paradoxically speaking, because he thinks so weird about himself, he ends up triggering the same effect. His angry or annoying, his annoyance that he carries with him scares people off. So indeed, people end up walking away from him. But it's caused by him, by how he views himself, how he dislikes himself. As long as this guy dislikes himself, he will always have this unrest emitted towards other people, and other people always keep themselves at a distance from him. But now he's in a loop. Anytime people walk away from him or only call him when they need something, he says, "You see, that's why I can't stand people like you." The truth is, he can't stand himself. He had never has embraced or accepted himself. So now he has to make up his mind. Am I going to be real with myself and give up this unrealistic low view of myself? Or am I going to hold on to it as a way to escape? Now, as if the guy decides, you know what, it's just the way I am, people just have to take it, guess what? He just made an excuse for this long term dysfunction. From now on, he is a portal. From now on, demons can use him against other people. From now on, he's a risk to be around. So, in this case, he has trashy spirits, misfortune spirits, fear spirits, he has all types of demons clinging onto him. And those demons are the pets, the paranormal pets here. He is feeding. Yes, there are people out there who are petting evil spirits by their refusal to improve and become safer and better human beings. Such people, if you kick out the demons from them, but if you fix the demons, before you know it, other demons come in because they are the ones that need to change for the better. They are the ones that need to improve. So, some people have paranormal pets. A paranormal pet is an evil spirit that they are feeding with their escapism. Some believers even have paranormal pets, and we shouldn't have those. And let me tell you, people with paranormal pets, they treat those demons far better than treat their fellow human beings. I'm just keeping it real with you. Even believers like this. So, when you're dealing with other people, check what they are and check if they're even willing to consider the fact that they need to improve and become better people. If they keep making excuses for their dysfunctions, or if they keep making excuses for the dysfunctional environment, or if they simply don't want to admit that, you know what, I can do better, or you know what, it's on me to do better now. It's not all on them, okay? It's not all on them. But their part is on them. They need to admit their part. If they're not willing to do their part, then they become demonic portals. And please, you have to disengage as soon as possible from demonic portals, even if they are believers, because such human beings are unreliable, untrustworthy, and at any time, their presence in your life or in your affairs can cause things to crash and cause things to die off. Your marriage, your business, your economic relevancy, your cultural impact, your legacy even can be destroyed by just one demonic portal being around you for too long. It's something quite serious. Am I telling you to cut them off very hard, like they never exist? On that, no. Just peacefully and peacefully lower contact with them and don't engage with them until there's proof they're complying with justice and becoming better. Some don't fake like they're getting better, just get sympathy from you or to hold you back because they're miserable and now they insist on you losing too. Anyway, keep on agreeing with Christ, be at peace, and I'll see you next live stream. Shalom.